jobs in IT companies, those are full-time jobs, right? On certain profiles, like you can go as a front-end engineer, go as a back-end engineer, go as a full-stack engineer, right? Go as a cloud engineer, some part of it, not in depth, but yeah, right? So this is more or less about Unikaksha, right? Now, let me explain a little bit about your guru, your mentor, who is going to take up this, class today. So Swati has more than 8 years of experience in Java full stack development. She has been a part of web development, right? And she has a 2+ years of experience as a certified trainer or instructor, right? So she's someone who has been the part of IT industry. She has been there. She has proven her competence in the certain fields of web development already, right? Holding extensive knowledge of this domain, right? And she now is going to take up this webinar, right? She is going to explain you how it is done, how you can, create a responsive, web design, right? And how it is going to help you in the longer run of your career, right? So over to you, Swati. We welcome you to this session from Unikaksha.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning on a Saturday morning, right? Okay. So I am your mentor for today's Guru class, and the topic you guys are already aware of is cracking a responsive web page design, right? Now you might be thinking, I mean, like, what is this about? Someone from non-tech background what is responsive web page design? Is it about, giving responses or something? So I'll be coming on to that part. Just to introduce you guys that, let's take an example, right? Imagine if you were to switch your old phone for a new one, which is bigger and has a brighter screen, only to find out that every website you visit is still adjusted to the small screen that you had on the older phone of yours, right? It would be frustrating, right? Because now you have a bigger screen, but still all of your websites, application, they're coming in as, they're coming small. Okay, they're like, you could call them as they're coming minimized sort of thing. Okay, luckily, this doesn't happen. Usually doesn't happen. Means if you're going to open a website on a laptop and then again you open that website on your mobile phone, it kind of doesn't stretch out. Have you seen that? Open any website on a laptop and then open the same website on your mobile phone. Does it stretch out because you had it open on your laptop? No, right? It fits. It's adjust to the width, right? For example, Netflix. We all watch Netflix over the internet, right? On the web. We have the app downloaded on our mobile phones. Do we ever see that the Netflix is not adjusting well to my laptop or on my mobile phone? No, right? And why? It's a concept which is known as responsive website design. Okay. So people access the internet from all kinds of devices. We do, right? We have smartphones, smart TVs, laptops. So mobile, laptop, desktop, tablet, or even Kindle we have, right? Static websites, they no longer work as they don't allow users the versatility to change devices and still have enjoyable user experience, right? So with your internet increasingly accessed from mobile devices, it's no longer enough to have static websites. What are static websites? With fixed screen, they are not responsive. They are going to remain as of that width. As you open it on a laptop, it's always going to be the same. That is your static website. You need something more responsive which can adjust with the changing needs. Not to mention, you also have considered tablets, right? Or you have 2-in-1 laptops. Yes. And different smartphone models with different screen dimensions coming up with a new design every night. So slapping your content into a single column and calling it quits isn't going to cut it out over here, right? The responsive web design, you can make sure your website looks its best on cell phones. It looks best on tablets, laptops, desktops, even if I open it on my smart TV, right? And that improvement in user experience means higher conversion and business growth. So now, today we are going to discuss everything about responsive website design, including the definitions, step-by-step walkthrough, examples, and more. Okay, am I clear on that? Everyone, please use Q&A for your queries and any answers. Okay, don't use chat for that. Use Q&A. That is more accessible to the mentors.
And
Now,
guys, sorry, Swati, as I said, whenever mentor is asking you to acknowledge whether you have understood or not, okay, so please go ahead and submit your responses on chat with your yes or no, or just raise your hand so that she can understand that you have understood and she can, move further into the webinar. Okay, so this is for your betterment only. Thank you, Swati.
welcome. Now, the next thing is, the agenda is very well clear, I suppose, that what is responsive design and how to do it. The first thing comes is, what is responsive web design first? Let's talk about that again, just to get to know it. Now, responsive design is an approach to web designing that makes your web content adapt to different screens and window sizes of variety of devices. Okay, suppose I'm making a website. Okay, I'm designing it right now. We usually code on laptops, right? So all the dimensions, the weight, the height, everything, I put it according to my desktop screen. I've hosted that application. I've hosted that web application. Now I am accessing it through my mobile phone. When I've set all of my weight and dimensions through, keeping in mind that I was working on a desktop and I open the same thing on my mobile phone, it will not be well adjusted over there. Okay, it will not be well adjusted. You'll not understand. I mean, like sometimes it happens if you open any, non-responsive websites, which are, do not follow this design pattern, and you see those on your mobile phone, you'll see that they kind of like are tricky to understand sometimes. Yes. So for example, your content might be separated into different columns on desktop screens because they are wide enough. But when you open the same thing on your mobile phone, the screen is limited. Yes, the screen is limited and that needs to be accommodated there itself. So if you separate your content into multiple columns on a mobile device, it will be hard for users to read and interact with. Yes. So responsive designs, it makes it possible to deliver multiple separate layouts of your content and design to different devices depending on the screen sizes. So some website, which is how it appears on the screen over here, like for example, Zoom. If you're connected through your laptop, you'll see the interface is quite different than if you open the same thing on your mobile phone. That is also responsive, right? So that is what you have to understand. So based on the device, based on the screen size, the layout also changes. So it's not enough for your website to look good on a computer screen. Tablets or 2-in-1 laptops, smartphones are all part of the equation, everything. And now here we are going to cover everything you need to know about your responsive designing. Yes. Yes, you will get the video recording. Not the video recording, but it is live streamed. Okay. Now the next thing that you see on the screen is talking about responsive web design and adaptive design. So for that, let me open up. Give me a moment just. Just give me a minute. Opening the whiteboard. Is it open? Okay, so now we'll talk about the difference between responsive web design and adaptive design. Do you see my screen? Yes. Okay. So the difference between responsive design and adaptive design is that responsive design, it adapts the rendering of a single page. Okay, the rendering of the single page version. In contrast, when we talk about adaptive design, it is going to deliver multiple completely different versions of the same page. Okay, adaptive means, now responsive means the same page that you have over here, it will be rendered accordingly on different screen sizes. In adaptive, you are going to have complete different versions. You see, different versions of the same application on different screen sizes. Okay, of the same page or the same website. That is adaptive and responsive. Responsive means it's going to adjust accordingly. अपने आप adjust करेगा. ठीक है? The content, everything, the layout will remain the same, but it's going to adjust. In adaptive, the sections or the columns may differ based on the screen size which is there. So they are both crucial web design trends. They are both crucial web design trends that help the web developers to control how their site looks on different screens. But the approach to do both of the things is different. With keeping responsive web design in mind, users will access the same basic file. So here, when we create any web application, there are multiple files, right? The code, everything that we write. So either you open that here on a desktop, on a tablet, or on a mobile phone, the source codes, the file, they will be same, everything. Only what changes is sometimes the CSS, right? To adjust that, the CSS will change. Rest, everything remains the same. In your adaptive, the script might also change. The script, the code files also change, right? So that is the difference between adaptive and responsive. The next thing which I might ask is, why do you guys think that responsive design matters? Anyone? Why do you think that it matters, the responsive design? Or why is it important? Anyone who wants to share your insights on it?
Any idea, guys? Just simply, put it on chat.
Okay, interesting, cool. Okay, no problem. Yes. So if you're new to web design, development, or blogging, you might wonder why this responsive design matters in the first place. I mean, like, if I've made it one time, is it not enough that I need to adjust it on all different devices? Yes? Should it be enough? Yes. So the answer is very simple over here, that it's no longer enough to design for a single device. Earlier, when the computers came in, we had those, mobile phones, just the keypad ones. So obviously there was no need of internet on the mobile phones. No other website will be opening on the mobile phone. We were just working on the desktops. And when the laptops came in, we switched to laptops and desktops together. So at that time, it was just a single device that was targeted, right? Mobile web traffic, it has overtaken desktop and now makes up the majority of the website traffic. Each one of us have mobile phones, right? From any part of the society, if you see, everyone, each one of us has a mobile phone and even a smartphone, right? So it makes up the majority of the website traffic, which accounts for more than 50%. More than 50%. All right. So that's why it is important that when over half of your potential visitors are there using a mobile device to browse the internet, you can't just serve them a page which doesn't open up well on mobile phones or on smaller screen and is only adjusted or been made for desktops or laptops, right? So it would be hard to read and use, and it will also lead to a bad user experience over there. Sometimes what happens if a website doesn't load well, you don't see styling on it, you think to yourself, what kind of a website is this? There is no good user experience, user interface on it. What bad UI? So that means your user experience is bad towards it. You are not going to visit that website again. That happens with me. I suppose that happens with everyone, right? If the UI is not appealing, I might feel they've not put enough efforts into it. What good information this website might be sharing? Does that happen? Looks matter, right? So that is for that reason we have this responsive web design. All right. So, there are landing pages, and if your landing pages, they aren't optimized for mobile and are easy to use, you won't be able to maximize the ROI of your marketing efforts. And this is all the, the business jargon, which I just spoke, but the bad conversion rate will ultimately lead to fewer leads and also going to have some wasted ad spend, right? So your website will not be visited. You'll not have customers and clients coming in. Obviously, that is always going to make your business go down, right? So everything is over the internet. Each and every business, as far as I can see, they've turned to the internet. From my own personal experience, I'll see that, like this is personal, but I come from a lawyer family. We have our own website up, right? So, so that is, every business is up over there. Yes. And if I do not have an attractive user interface, I will not attract clients. Whatever hard work I'm doing, but whatever shows, it gets sold out, right? So that is one thing. Are we following till here? Anything that you might want me to repeat or, to touch upon? Yes, exactly. So that is what we said. So the screen ratios are different, right? Screen sizes are different. So you cannot have, Ravindra, the same website which is built for a desktop or a laptop screen to open up in the same manner on your mobile phone, because then you'll not have a good experience on it. You're not going to read well from it, use it well, right? You need something which also makes your accessibility easier. That's why we have these responsive designs. Okay, understood this? Now, talking about common website layout. There are three main screen widths. There are actually more, but three main screen widths, which we call. If you come from a web development background, you might be aware of this already. If not, then you can see it right over here. And these screen widths, they are also called as breakpoints. Breakpoints. You should keep in mind whenever you're designing your website, the screen widths, these breakpoints. Okay. I'm going to quickly run you through them to ensure your website is responsive across the three major fixed layouts. The three major fixed layouts हैं those. First is the small. Now, small is typically refers to mobile devices, right? So mobile devices, they have a screen size of under, if anyone knows, what is the screen size of a mobile device? It usually goes under 640px. It categorizes as small. This is the smallest website width to adjust your UI design to. After this, we have medium. We have XS, small, then after that medium, large, XL as well. But these are three major categories which I'm talking about. Medium. And here, corresponding to the size of the most tablets, you have tablets, or we have some super large phones, you know, which exceed the 640px, if you will see. The medium screen size will be between your 641px, usually talking about tablets. Okay, that is your medium screen size. Now, large, you have laptops, desktops. Okay, TVs, other large devices with a display width of and above. Okay, that is a large. Understood this? So there are three main categories. The dimensions might slightly change from one specific mobile to another one, okay, or computer models. But this is the category. Okay. So the next thing is, what are the main components of your responsive web design? Or what do we say, what are the building blocks of your responsive web design? Okay. So I'm going to cover a few foundations for responsive website design now, and the different building blocks of those. There are many. So I'll start with the first one, which is CSS and HTML, the basic, from where we start. Okay. The foundation of responsive design is the combination of HTML, which gives the structure, and CSS, the styling. Two of these programming paradigms, or you could say the languages that control the content and the layout of the page in any given web browser. This is important. Baki kya ho raha hai? So you will be using different frameworks and everything. That is the different thing. But this is the important thing to have your website, right? If you talk about HTML, what does an HTML do? What does it do? Just give me a moment. Yes. So HTML, it dictates the content and structure of the web page. Okay. What content needs to go, that you put basically into the HTML, and structure of the web page. What is a full form for HTML? I suppose everyone knows it. Hypertext Markup Language. For the CSS, what is CSS? Cascading style sheets. What it does is it basically designs and display these HTML elements. Display the HTML elements. So as we are aware that HTML, it mainly controls the structure, elements, and content of a web page. Now, if you have to add an image to a website, anyone who can tell me what will be the code for an HTML to add an image to a website? It's simple, pretty simple, right? But can you write it down in the chat or in your Q&A? Yes, image tag. We use image tag. So for like, we are going to write image src equals to, let's say, demo.jpg, right? An alternative for this, whatever that you need to, show if it doesn't come up. And this is the simple, code for it, right? We can give some class or ID over here that we can later target and work with in our CSS, right? So you could also control some primary attributes over there. We can set some height, width within the HTML, but this is no longer considered the best practice. That don't control the dimensions, the simple primary attributes inside the HTML elements itself. Handle it with CSS. So instead, CSS is used to edit the design and layout of the elements you include on a page with HTML. Okay. CSS code can be included in a style section, as we are already aware, or you can even put it into a separate style sheet, or you can use it along with your style attribute, right? Can we do that? So if I'll have to write a simple, width, give the width of this in CSS, in my other file for CSS external spreadsheet, style sheet, I could write image. I can give width, whatever width I want to give, I can give that, let's say 100%, and so, right? You can target some, specific class or IDs as well, and you can provide the styling. I hope we all are aware of that, how to work with HTML and CSS. This is one fundamental way to achieve some responsive web design. You can control the design beyond just height, width, and color. Okay, whatever you want to do, you can use media queries here itself. Now, what is a media query? Anyone? Have you heard of media queries? Have you heard of media queries? No? Okay, cool. So a media query is a feature of CSS. I think it came into CSS 3 that allows displaying web content according to screen sizes. Okay, again, for responsive web design, we use it. So it allows you to display web content according to screen size, orientation, and resolution. Okay, so screen size, orientation, and resolution. Orientation, portrait landscape, that is the orientation, right? It checks the screen's width before rendering the content to make sure the latter is appropriate for the screen or not. For example, if your screen layout is small, certain blocks can be rearranged to adapt to the design of the display. Okay, or you can use and put conditions over there as well, and then you can display the layout. So media queries have two components in it. One is the media type. It has two components. One is your media type. Okay. Media type means it is a phone, tablet, TV for what you are trying to design it. And then the media feature. The change that you want. Okay. The orientation, the width, the height, and those things are media features. So there are two components in it. Okay. Media type and media feature. So it's a fundamental part of CSS 3 that lets you render content to adapt to different factors like screen size, resolution, and orientation. I hope this is clear. So for example, I'll write it down for you, how it looks like. At the rate, when we write a media query, I'm just giving an example to you. At the rate media, let's say screen media screen, and then you put, and let's say minimum width is your 780px. Then here you define inside it whatever is your the media feature, what you want to change or work with. Like I want to work with the class, maybe I have a class with full width. Okay. And here I want to give some styling. Maybe I want to make the margin auto. Or okay, and maybe give some width. Maybe I want to give a width of 80%. All right. So like this. So like this, we work with media query. This is a simple example which I've written. This is how we write media queries. Media type is this. Okay. And some conditions that we put over there. So it basically, you could say that it works in a similar way to an if clause in some programming language or the other programming language that you might have worked with. You're already aware of if and else. So it works somewhere around that only. Basically, it checks if a screen viewport over here in this example is, it checks if a screen's viewport is wide enough or too wide before executing that appropriate code or styling that you've given inside. So here, if the screen is at least 780 pixels wide, then for the full width class, and I think full width, I'll put it for the image that we've taken earlier. Then you just take up the 90% of the screen which is available, or the container which is, in which it is, and the margin you have to put it as auto. Okay, that means you have to bring it into the center. Equally wide margins bana dete hain when we. So then that means you're centering that particular item. Beech mein la rahe hain usse. Okay, that is one thing. Is it understood? Then the next is your fluid layouts. The next is your fluid layouts. A fluid layout is, again, it's an essential part of your model responsive design. Now, in the old days, or previously, you would set a static value for every HTML element, right? Like if I have to set the width, if I had to set a width, we have done that, right? We have done that everywhere in our programming, that we used to give some width and static values like 100px, right? Now, a fluid layout, it relies instead on dynamic values. Dynamic values are percentages where I give 10%, 20% of the viewport of the container. That is your fluid layout. Okay. So this approach will dynamically increase or decrease the different container element sizes based on the size of the screen and will adjust accordingly. If you're going to give this fixed value 100px, 200px, 50px, that means whether your website opens up on a laptop or on a smartphone, it is always, this particular width will always be 100px. Either it comes on a laptop 100px or on your mobile phone 100px. Okay, that will not make it very responsive. That will make it rigid. Okay, because then it will not be able to adjust properly. So it is advised for your web applications, for the responsive web application, that you follow fluid layouts. Fluid layouts are achieved through percentages, where you define a percentage that, okay, this is the screen size. Let the screen size be anything. Of the screen size, I only want 50% of the screen size for this particular container, for this particular image, for this particular, tags or something. That is your fluid layout. Okay. Now the next is Flexbox layout. There are many. Actually, there are many. I'll be covering a few of them. So Flexbox layout, while a percentage based, which we've seen for the fluid one, is fluid, right? That's okay. Many designers and developers, they felt that it was not dynamic enough or flexible enough. There is another module of CSS which deals with flex boxes. And this CSS module is designed as a more efficient way to lay out multiple elements, even when the size of the contents inside the container is unknown. At that time when you do not know what is the size of the container, okay, or the contents which are inside that container, there you can use flex boxes. So flexbox, fluid layout, media queries, these are all efficient ways to make your websites responsive. Okay. Now there is a flex container. Whenever we create flex boxes, so we create a container first. I'm showing you a pictorial, representation of it. So there is a container, okay, inside which we put some flex items. The arrangement of these items makes up for the responsive web design. A flex container expands items to fill available space inside it, okay, or shrink them to prevent the overflow, underflow problems. These flex containers have a number of unique properties, like we have justify content, we have align, flex star, flex end, center. Those kind of things are also come up with the properties, okay, with the regular HTML elements, and you can use these. Okay. So flex boxes are actually a complicated topic, so I'll not be covering it all. But yes, I'm giving you an idea about it, that flex box are again used to achieve responsive web designings. Okay. Then another way you might have heard of when you've done HTML and CSS, if you've done web development. If not, then you see it over here, and we also have a programs for development, full stack development. You can get in touch with the counselors for that. So responsive images, right? So the most basic iteration of your responsive images, it follows the same concept as your fluid layout, where we use dynamic unit. Responsive images. This also makes use of the fluid layout. Here we also work with dynamic units. Okay, working with view width, view height, percentages, those things to control the width and height of the images. Okay, so that is your responsive images. There, for example, if I give some width for an image as 100%, the percentage unit over here, it approximates to a single percentage of a width or height of the viewport, pura viewport jo available hota hai, and make sure the image remains in proportion to the screen. You open that particular image anywhere, that particular website anywhere, on any screen size, okay, on any resolution that I say, that will be rendered in regard to the viewport only, okay, and will adjust accordingly. The problem with this approach is that every user has to download the full-sized image, even on the mobiles. To serve different versions which are scaled for different devices, you need to use the HTML. There is the attribute which is source set. One attribute that we work with is source set. Okay? So if you want to serve different version scale for different devices, then we use this HTML attribute source set in our image tags, which specify more than one image size to choose from. So there we give the image sizes, okay, that for which kind of device, what image size needs to be rendered. And whenever you're going to download, is only going to download that one. Okay? Understood this? Is this clear? Am I clear on that? Now there are common screen sizes you might be wondering. I told you about, small, medium, and large. For mobile phones, we generally have from for the 640 pixels, that is 360 to 640. And so on. So there are different screen sizes for your mobiles as well. Kaun sa wala? I have a 5-inch one or 6-inch one. That depends. So based on that, their sizes also, changes. Like if I have iPhone 10, so it is somewhere from, let me check. So this is somewhere from 375 to 812. Right. So if you have laptop resolutions or screen sizes, they also change. The breakpoints, they change. So it could be, from 1300, 1350 to 768, like of those. Okay. High resolution laptops or desktops, they are even higher with the 1920 to, into 1080. Check the resolution. You guys can check the resolution. Yes. So this is the basic understanding which I'm providing. Yes. Why I've got this over here, that to code. Yes, the time is limited, right? So if we'll start coding for each one of them, we'll not be able to finish it off. For the basic introduction that you need to know about. Now, if anyone asks you that what you understand by responsive web design, I hope you can explain that. I hope that you can explain different or, or the base building blocks of responsive web designing. That what are the different ways to achieve that. Yes, there is a lot of learning that needs to be done yet, but this is just a start. This is just the beginning of it, right? So whenever, or the last part is how to make your websites responsive. So we've talked about building blocks and we have to use those only to make the websites responsive. Okay. That means you need to set your media query range. Media query range means the breakpoints you have to give. So work with media queries, the size layout elements where we work with percentages or dynamic units, using a flex box, CSS modules, or the grid layouts, making use of responsive images, the responsive typography for our website text, and so on, the test responsiveness. So those are a different ways in which you can make your websites responsive. Some of the few examples which I might tell you, or you can also think about it. Do you know Netflix? We all are on Netflix. Okay, so if you see Netflix, that is also responsive web designing, which prioritize the user experience, right? Then the next is Shopify. If you've seen Shopify, that is also your responsive web designing. GitHub, I think each one of us, if not, then see for GitHub also, right? GitHub is also responsive. It demonstrates another great example of fluid grid, that stacks blocks on top of each other. GitHub is one website again. So in summary, I would just say that, responsive web design, it implements a number of techniques to adjust the website layout to different screen sizes. And whichever technique you intend to follow is only going to help you to make your user experience a far better than the static ones. Okay. So it allows guests to use the sites comfortably on any type of devices. The user experience, it enhances. The user satisfaction is also there when they visit your sites. You will have more, web traffic on it. So this flexibility is achieved through media queries, flexible images, fluid grids, flex boxes, and gadgets, as we know about. I mean, like, if I talk about 15 years, we go back 15 years, the advances that we have in our gadgets was not that much. No one would have thought that we'll be taking this class right now and, learning about it. Or if I talk about 20 years back, So 20 years back, they were not, so much into internet and everything. They were still working on laptops. They thought that, that this is the only thing from where I can access the internet much faster and work. But now everything has shifted to the smaller devices. It also provides us with the ease of it, right? Why? Why do open up a laptop in a busy street when I can usually do that task on my phone if I have to send an important report, right? That is what I'm saying. So gadgets also, they change very fast. And if you want to maintain your website usability in the long run, we need a responsive web design over there. Okay. Amazon is also one example. So there are a lot of different elements that can go into responsive web design. So without a basic understanding of web development, HTML and CSS, people will find it a little difficult and will make some easy mistakes in designing such, websites and web application. But familiarizing yourself with the different building blocks, analyzing the examples with the dev tools which are there, and testing as you go into the sample code, you will be able to make your website responsive without any major issue. So practice is the key. Learning is the key for that. Okay. Yes, Ravindra, I think I have kind of covered up.
Okay, great. Shall we roll out the polls?
Yes, I need you to roll out the first poll and then the second poll. Guys, there is a poll which is coming up for you guys just to see how engaged you were in the session.
Okay, guys, the first poll is live on your screen. Okay. It says identify the building blocks of responsive web design. Okay. And Swati has explained everything in detail. So just, go ahead and see how correct you are, whether you have understood it correct or not, right? There are 4 options visible on your screen. The first one says CSS and HTML. The second one says Flexbox. The third says media queries, and the fourth says styling, right? So identify which one is the building block of a responsive web design and submit your responses. I encourage each one of you to try your luck, right? Because web designing might sound a little bit alienated or strange because you have attended this webinar for the first time. But trust me, it is a lot more fun when you actually go on the ground and try it, right? First time it is okay for everyone, but later on as you start to learn, it goes really easy hand to hand. Wonderful. I could see 33% of the people who have attended this webinar are saying it's CSS and HTML. Another 33% people are saying it's Flexbox, right? And 67% people are saying it's media queries, and 11% people are saying it's styling. Okay, so let me get you the correct answer. Okay, the correct answers are the first 3: CSS, HTML, Flexbox, and just one moment. Yeah, and the media queries, right, Swati?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The first
So
3: CSS, HTML, Flexbox, and media queries.
exactly. Great, great. Okay, thank you so much for submitting your responses, guys. I could see that nearly about 67% people were correct. Okay, so the second poll is going live on your screen now. Okay, it's a very simple question. Can you guess which one of these websites are based on a responsive web design? Okay, so if you have understood which is called, or what is the exact meaning of a responsive web design, how do we use it? So these are the 4 options wherein you can correlate which of these websites could have a responsive web design. So is it like Netflix? Is it Shopify? Is it GitHub, or it is none of the above? Quickly submit your responses. because the poll will auto end. Wonderful. This time, everyone has got the correct answer, right? 83% people are saying it's Netflix, 67% people are saying it's Shopify, and 75% people are saying GitHub. So yes, the correct answer is all three of Netflix, Shopify, and GitHub. All these three websites, they have a very responsive web design. You have any device, okay? You have iPhone, you have a Android device, you have a Google device, you have laptop, you have tablets of different sizes. You can easily access those, these three websites on those devices, and you would not, uh, feel any difference, right? The stretches are not happening. The websites are clear, very responsive, and the high level designing is there. So correct answer, guys. Thank you so much for being participative. Right. So Swati, do you want to add anything more to this, what you have just explained?
No, I hope I'm good over here. Unless they have any question, I can address those.
Okay, so guys, now we are opening this session for live questions and answers. Okay, if you have any doubts, if you have any questions, just simply raise your hand, and we will allow you to interact with the mentor one-on-one. You can route your questions on Q&A, or you can route your questions on chat, or you can be vocal about it. Okay, Yusuf is asking a question. Can we get the recorded video of this session? So Yusuf, we would not be able to provide you with the recording of this webinar, but it is live streamed on YouTube. Okay, so you can go on Unicaksha's YouTube channel, and once this video is uploaded there, you can access it and watch it at your convenience. So I'll simply ask one of our members to drop our YouTube channel link here. So Abhijit, if you're here, can you drop, can you share the YouTube link with everyone? David, Dipanshu, Durga, Laksha, Mathu, Satyanarayan, Saima Khan, Sahima, Shashank, Shirisha, Shyam, Tasleem, Yusuf, and a lot of people are also there. So guys, you have you have been this into this webinar from last 45 minutes, 50 minutes. You have heard what your mentor has to say, what your guru has to say. So do you have any questions? Be it a very small question, even if you want to ask, how shall I begin my career into IT, right? How shall I kickstart learning web development, right? So even if it's that kind of question, just go ahead and ask. Sachin is saying, I have a question. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Sachin. Just go ahead and ask your question. I do not see that we can. There is a functionality that allows you to, unmute yourself, but you can simply mention your question on chat or Q&A.
Yes, we provide training for React.js, Shashank Patel. So it's a full stack developer program that we have, and in that we cover the whole full stack web development, and we do React.js, React Hook, Redux, routing, and everything over there.
That's correct. So Abhijit has shared I'm so sorry. Please go ahead.
With live projects, I meant.
Okay, yeah. Right. So Abhijit has shared the YouTube link with each one of you guys. You can save this link and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel also. Okay. I want to be a web developer, but I do not have any idea. Okay, Sachin got your question. Swati, do you want to say anything to Sachin?
Oh, one moment. I cannot see his question just now.
It's on the chat.
I want to be a web developer, but I don't have an idea. So that is for what we are here, right, Ravindra? So to guide them, to mentor them, and to provide you with a promising career. So for that, Ravindra, make sure that the counselors get in touch with Sachin. You see, it's simple. It's if you set your heart into it, you'll be able to crack web development as well, Sachin. So it's not that uh, big of a task, but yes, it requires a lot of commitment and commitment as well as hard work from you to achieve into this field.
So yeah, and further adding to what Swati has said, right? Learning web development is comparatively easy than learning other, IT courses. Like, you have heard that, this point in time, artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? AI/ML domain or data science domain is, getting a big leap into the market, right? But if we do a quick comparison, learning web development is 3 times easier than learning artificial intelligence, machine learning, or data science, right? If we talk about what basics do you need to have a very basic understanding of mathematics to learn web development, right? Because when you are trying to create a website, a responsive website, you need to introduce logics and algorithms there, right? So yes, basic level of mathematics is required. But when we talk about data science, when we talk about artificial intelligence, when we talk about machine learning, a very good understanding of applied statistics is required, which means your mathematics should be really, really strong, right? Otherwise, it is not survivable, right? But web development, on the other hand, it's very, very easy. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, these 3 basic frameworks have laid the foundation of web development. Web development is oldest in the industry, right? 33 years old to be very precise. 1990 was the year when web development has started. And if we talk about the future of web development, it's very promising, because if you want to start your own organization, you have a product that you want to sell. How do you do it, right? You create websites, you create web-based APIs, you create applications. So who do you need? Web developers. If we talk about the kind of jobs available in the market currently, so out of 100% jobs into IT sector, 48 to 50% job roles are reserved for web developers, right? And strictly for not the regular web developers, but IT companies are focusing, they are hiring full stack web developers real time, right? Full stack web developer is someone who knows end-to-end development, right? So there are 2 phases to development. One is front end and one is back end, right? So a front end engineer, a back end engineer, as well as this person knows all the work related to database management system. Okay, how to manage data, how to store it, how to transfer it, how to expand it onto the website, right? All that is the work of a full stack developer. Then this full stack developer is well versed with deployment of those projects, the projects like websites, application creations, software creations, right? So this is how it is, right? And learning web development, trust me guys, it's really fun. As I said already, right? You start with the basics of programming fundamentals, right? That is how you start your journey. You have to understand that coding is very much required when you are working as a developer or you're working on a development phase, right? So from basics to the dynamics of programming language, arrays, links, 2D, graphs, hash maps, you have to learn everything, right? Then you step into data structures and algorithms, right? You need to understand that how the data is converted into a digital format, how it is stored, how it is transferred, how it is transmitted, right? How it is processed. That is the next thing that you learn as a web developer. And then finally, you step into the real, web development phase, learning front end, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, DOM, JSON, Redux, React, JS. Then you step into backend, learning Node.js, Express.js, right? You need to learn the language of database as well, which is MongoDB, right? And then what you have learned here, okay? React.js, I just said, Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB. So if you have heard of MERN stack, MERN technologies or MERN frameworks, MongoDB, Express, React, and Node, right? So this is what makes you a full stack developer, right? When you have this knowledge at hand. And to be a job ready candidate, you have to ensure that you know each of these technologies in detail, guys, right? You need to work on multiple projects, right? You need to solve more than 200 data structures and algorithm questions to master what it is required to become a full stack developer. That is how you feel confident when you go into interview rounds, right? It should not be a case that you're going into interviews and you have a blank face. You would be rejected, right? So to gain that level of confidence, what you need to do is you need to practice more. Web development is not theoretical. Okay, it's practical. 70% practical knowledge, 30% theoretical knowledge. That is how you can ensure that you have the effective knowledge and extensive learnings within your classes. So practicals are much more required, right? So Unicaksha being an edtech platform, what do we offer? We offer a full stack web development course to final year students, to someone who is coming from a non-tech background and they want to kickstart their career into IT, to someone who wants to upskill themselves, which means they are already working in IT sector and are working on developers profiles, right? So we help them upskill. Someone who is working in IT but working on non-tech profiles, such as you are a software tester, you are a desktop support engineer, you are a technical support officer, right? You are an admin in IT organizations. So yes, you are in IT companies, but you are on non-tech profiles, right? So if you want to move into developers profiles or tech profiles, right? So we offer you a full stack development course from Unicaksha, right? It is a 4-month course. The 4 months of learning, the continuous learnings are there. 100% live classes, right? Zero recorded lectures are provided by the mentors, right? We do not believe in that, because live classes, it gives you a sense of interaction with the mentor, right? You have any doubts, you can go ahead and ask it immediately, right? Like this webinar is an interactive one, right? It's a live. So I'm talking to you live. You're questioning me live questions. You're questioning Swati, right? So this is a two-way interaction. That is what we believe in. 100% live classes, right? We have a morning batch and we have an evening batch. So as your convenience, you can start your learning, right? So if you talk about the learning journey, right? So every day, 3 hours of live classes are there, then followed by the live doubt clarification sessions or doubt solving sessions, you can say, right? So your mentors will be there. You can attend those sessions. Those are optional, but you can attend those sessions if you have any doubts, right? Then there are assessments, certain assessments that you have to clear, right? You have to work on a few assignments as well, right? Then there are projects. There are 10 plus projects. 3 plus projects are the capstone projects, right? So capstone project is something wherein you are going to test your metal, right? You are doing that under the guidance of your mentor. And capstone projects, if you want to know the definition, capstone project is an exact replica of an ongoing project in one of the product-based organizations or service-based organizations. We may ask you to create something similar to Netflix or maybe something similar to Facebook, right? It depends what kind of projects are being given to you by your mentors, right? Then to start with front end, to start with back end, we give you mini projects first, then major projects, right? Then you actually go into the capstone projects, right? So this is how we ensure that you have effective learnings, how you have learned. Once that is completed, we start with your placement activities, right? We help you create resumes. We help you set up a profile on GitHub. We help you create a profile on LinkedIn, or if it is already there, we help you get it reviewed by the experts, right? Once that is done, we directly do not send you for interviews, right? We ensure that you are a job ready candidate. So to ensure that you are a job ready candidate, what we have done here is we send you for internships, right? The internship can be provided by Unicaksha, right? Or, I mean, Unicaksha is a sister company of Code Shastra. So Code Shastra is an IT company, right? So we can get you an internship there, a 3 months internship, or we can outsource you to different IT companies to get your internships done, right? There you are working on live projects, right? Simultaneously, your learnings are, going on side by side, right? So you get to learn a lot when you are exactly and actually, deploying your skills on ground, right? And once your internship is midway or if it is completed, we then actually go ahead and send you for interviews, right? So we offer you a 100% job guarantee program, right? And it is not a word of mouth that Unicaksha is giving. We provide you with a legal agreement that says, if in case you are not able to secure a job in IT companies on tech roles after completion of your program, then you do not have to pay anything to Unicaksha. We offer you a pay after placement program, right? That is available for non-earning individuals. Or if your salaries are less than 15,000, we offer you a pay after placement program, for which you have to clear an assessment, an online assessment, right? Those who are working individuals, they're earning good, they are here for upskilling. We offer you a standard, payment options here, right? If in case we are not able to get your job, your money will be refunded back to you. And again, it is not a word of mouth, it is given on the legal agreement, right? So if anyone is interested in knowing more about the program that we offer, right? If you want to explore more about Unikaksha, about full stack development, right? What we can do for you is we can arrange a one-on-one counseling session with one of the student or the academic counselors from Unikaksha. All you have to do is, I'm going to roll out a simple poll here. Just mention whether you want to connect with the academic counselors in a yes or a no, right? So it is live on your screen. Are you interested to know more about our programs? Yes or no? Just submit your responses. While registering, is there any chance? Dipanshu is asking a question. Yes, Dipanshu, there is a one-time registration fee of 2,500 rupees. Okay. And before you go ahead and actually submit this amount, you have to clear an online assessment. Okay, Sachin is pursuing his bachelor's in computer applications from Meerut Institute of Technology. Okay. I have skills of HTML and CSS, but I cannot find that video which helps me to use JavaScript on web development, right? So, Dipanshu, there are tons of free content available on internet. It should not be a case that you're not able to find it. But if you really want to learn everything in detail, right? You want to have that confidence emerging in you, I would suggest you to talk to our academic counselor once. Okay, just hear from them what they have to say, what we have to offer to you, and if it makes sense to you, then you're most welcome to join Unikaksha's programs. Okay, there is a question on Q&A, Swati, from David. He is asking, can Python be used on web page like JavaScript? Swati, can you hear us? Okay, no worries. I believe she's not available. So I'll go ahead and try explaining it to you. Okay. So what has happened recently, JavaScript now has become the sister language of web development, right? JavaScript has nearly replaced, Java, Python, CSS, C++ and C, right? Why? Because when you learn about the frameworks that are being currently used on the front end, on the back end, right? Mostly we are using JavaScript platforms, React.js for single pager or multi-pager application, or websites on the front end part. When we go into backend, we have Node.js, Node JavaScript, right? Simultaneously, we have Express JavaScript, right? So JavaScript is taking over and has become the official language of web development, right? And if you want to use Python, right? Python is a futuristic language, right? You just have to run certain, libraries, and that is how you are going to run your code. So it is possible to incorporate Python on the web pages wherein you have JavaScript, but understand the syntax is going to be different now, right? You will have two syntaxes on the same web page. One syntax is on Python, one syntax is on JavaScript. So it is going to definitely create some kind of disruption or is going to limit the functionality of your web page, right? So it is advisable to use one programming language throughout the website, right? Later on, you can, yes, you can go ahead and export or import either JavaScript into Python or Python into JavaScript, but the syntax will again be changed, right? It will be a uniformed syntax throughout the web. That is how you are going to define that you have a set, uh, you know, uh, instructions, and the logics and algorithms are following the similar syntax or the similar programming language, right? So JavaScript for data structures algorithms is the best suit, and since it is used in the web development phase as well, so it is advisable only to use JavaScript. I hope that answers your question, David. What is the fee for this course? Samarth, since we are from the learning and development team, I would suggest you to go ahead and wait for the call from one of our academic counselors. If you have mentioned yes, if you have mentioned no, I would suggest you to drop off your number here. It is only visible to us. We will arrange a call from one of the student counselor, and they will connect with you and they will explain you the entire fee structure. Abhijit, what was the response for the last poll? Okay, 89% people. Wow, I'm impressed. 89% people who have attended the webinar are saying that they are interested in knowing more about our program. So guys, I would suggest you to have a little patience. Immediately after the webinar, your numbers will be, your details are already with us. Okay, so we will provide your details to our academic counselors who are really, or someone who have a very extensive knowledge of the entire domain, right? So they will help you understand how it is, what it is, and how it works, and how it is going to help you to add value in terms of whatever you want to do. You want to land a job in IT, you're here for career transition, you're here for career upskilling. So whichever is your focus point, how it is going to add value there, right? Tasleem has shared the number. Tasleem will get you a call very shortly. Right. So if anyone has any questions, I would say go ahead and ask the question right away, because we might end this webinar in next 2-3 minutes if you do not see any responses. Okay, guys, do you have any questions? You can raise your hand or you can let us know in the chat. Just be responsive. Guys, yes, no, maybe. Okay, Tasleem, you had a question. You'll get a call very shortly. Okay, since I do not see any responses here, I would say let's go ahead and end this session for today, right? So first of all, I'm very, very thankful to all of you who took out some time during the weekend and have attended this insightful Guru class today, right? For this, we are very thankful to you, right? And I believe that this session would in some way is going to add value to your knowledge, to yourself, right? You may be able to decide whether you want to get into IT, whether you are really ready for career upskilling and career transition, right? And if this, Guru class has helped you understand how to create a responsive web design, right? How to crack a responsive web design, right? So if that helps you, we would be more than happy to have, similar classes coming up every Saturday, right? And you can watch the video later on YouTube as well for your reference. The YouTube channel link has been shared with all of you, right? You can scroll it on the chat and subscribe to our channel, right? So once again, guys, thank you so much for attending today's Guru class, right? And I wish you a very best of luck for all your future endeavors, right? And I believe at some point in time, this information would come handy whenever you want to start your career in IT, right? So with this notion, I say thank you once again, right? Have a lovely weekend and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much, guys. Abhijit?